Bronson Methodist Hospital provides us with employee assistance program. We discovered recently that with that subscription, we get, I think it's we get 4 trainings a year from a list of really great topics. And the one we chose to start the series is workplace differences and how to manage the social and interpersonal relationships in the workplace. And Brandy Currie, is it?
Brandy Currie. If you want, I can. Yep, I can go ahead and introduce myself and tell you all the things.
Great, okay. Thank you. I'll kick it over to you.
Yes, and you must be Jim.
I am Jim. Yep.
Nice to meet you. Okay, it's so nice to see you all today. I'm Brandy Currie. I'm a psychotherapist at Bronson HelpNet. I am also a clinical health trainer, and so I enjoy doing both of those roles. A little bit about me: I have 6 children, so I run a little circus from age 24 to 8. I'm a combat veteran. I was in the Army, and so I spent some time in Afghanistan and Germany and Kuwait and all the places. I really enjoy studying about mental health, and I love people, so this is perfect. I'm so glad you have me here. I'm going to go ahead and share my slides with you. Are they in front of you, and can you see them clearly?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and get started. So this is on workplace differences and how to navigate communication. Okay, so what will we be talking about? Communicating effectively, various social styles, emotional intelligence, various learning styles, and style flexing. So effective communication, what is that? Effective communication is that process of exchanging ideas, thoughts, opinions, knowledge, and data so that the message is received and understood with clarity and purpose. When we communicate effectively, both the sender and the receiver feel satisfied. So how do we accomplish this mission? How do we all get along in an environment that may be stressful already? I know in your work environment, you're working with humans, and as humans, we all have our different genetic makeups, temperaments, communication styles, and learning styles. So how do we meet everybody's needs and coexist together? Now, some of these things you're going to take this home with you, because what we take home with us from work, what we bring from home, we bring to work. So, we're the same human, whether we're at work, whether at home, we may put on a different hat, but we are the same person. And so our communication styles generally don't change from environment to environment. So a lot of times this is how we end up communicating with one another. Not exactly what we want, but can be reality. So we have the GIFs and the emojis, and we have the passive aggressive chat messages, or maybe the glaring over our cubicles every now and again, because to say that we all don't get annoyed would be, that would be wild. I'd say, there's no way. Yelling over cubicle walls, meetings, nobody wants to go to meetings generally. Reply all emails. If you have a reply all email, somebody is pretty annoyed. Sighing. So that, oh my gosh, I have to deal with these people again. This is so annoying. So ever feel like you don't understand exactly what somebody means? I'm pretty sure we all feel this daily. I know I do. Maybe the way that they say something, how they come across to us is annoying. We don't like the sound of their voice. We don't understand. Quite possibly what they're saying and what you're saying is being translated incorrectly. So that means the sender and the receiver are both kind of off the wagon there. This is because we each have our own communication style. Each style is different. We have a different learning style. We have a different life history. I think that's important, especially in the work that you're in, the work that I'm in. Everyone comes to us with their own challenges, with their own history, their own story. And we have no idea. We just see the person in front of us and we think we know a whole lot by what we see, and we don't. It's literally just the surface that we see. So this is, anyways, we find ourselves having different communication styles and learning styles, personalities, and we find ourselves not getting along at work. And then that carries over to home. And all in all, whether you're at work or whether you're at home, you need to be able to understand other people so that you can communicate, you can be in peace. I know I want to be in peace when I'm in my office. We've all kind of gotten used to each other and we communicate pretty well, but there are sometimes when somebody sends that reply, oh, I'm like, oh no, they are annoyed. So this is a great, I love this, by George Bernard Shaw. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it's taken place. I think this is relevant in every single relationship we have. We think that we got our point across to our children, our partners, our loved ones, our workmates, our associates, and no, they missed it. So how does poor communication or differences affect us in the workplace? So 97% of employees believe communication impacts their task efficacy on a daily basis. Poor communication is affecting trust for 45% of workers. Poor communication leads to individuals becoming excluded and or emotionally distressed. Poor communication between colleagues and leaders in the workplace cause poor productivity, burnout, more stress that's carried over to home. If we are not well at work, we are not well at home, and we come back to work, and how can we serve others and help others in this world and complete our mission if we aren't communicating and we are all mentally unwell? So the way we do or do not communicate in the workplace causes differences, which in turn we take home with us, that stress. There's less work-life balance. So how do we get through the differences of communication, personality, and all of the above to be efficient and to be able to have that peaceful work environment we all so desire? So knowing is half the battle. Like that one, I took that one from, it's like G.I. Joe. I think I remember my little one wanting to watch that all the time. But if you don't know your children, your workmates' communication style, theirs, how do you and they learn? You don't. So what are the various social styles? I know that a lot of us, have ideas about how we communicate, and those are all fine and well. But when we sit down and we actually do the work, we can find out where we are on this little continuum and at what part in our lives. Because when we start out in our career, we may be in one area. When we've been in our career for 10 years, we may be in a completely different area, depending on our growth, our change. So if you've ever heard somebody say, hey, when I get into a relationship, and I'm 30 years in, we've both changed. Well, absolutely, you've both changed, because our brains aren't even developed fully until 26 years of age. So you have to think of all the things that happen before 26 and then all the things that happen after, and we're definitely changing. And sometimes our social styles will change. So let's look at this. The analyticals in the group, they want to know how. The drivers are wanting to know what. The amiables want to know why. And the expressives want to know who. So as you can see, between the analyticals and the amiables, you have low assertiveness. Whereas if you get two analyticals, an analytical and a driver in the room, you're going to have low responsiveness. Maybe they're not going to be as in tune. Whereas now you go to the driver and the expressive, high assertiveness. They're going to get things, they want to get things done, and they're going to let you know all about it. Now, when you've got the amiables and the expressives, you've got that high attention, high responsiveness. They come off as more caring. Not that they are, but they do come off that way because, again, depending on what style we are, we see them differently. So what does it mean? So this means how you respond in the workplace and personal life. So how do you engage with people who respond differently or who have a different style? First things first is that no style is better than the other. So no social style is better than the other. And in fact, they all yield, with all the studies that have been done, they all yield the same response, essentially. So different way to do it, but still get the results. So it doesn't matter whether you're an analytical, a driver, amiable, or expressive. You can get the same task done. It can be wonderful. It's just going about it differently in the way you interact with others. So when we look at an analytical person, this person needs to be right. They prefer to think about things. They're going to ponder about the things that they are involved in. Their weakness is that they are critical. So you might feel, if you have an analytical person in your office, that they are very short. They are critical. They tell you, what they don't like more often than what they do like. When you have a driver, their needs, results. So they want to see things done. They don't really want to hear a lot of things. That's why their weakness is listening, and they prefer that action. Okay, let's get this done. Let's move through. All right, all right, all right. Sometimes we can get caught up as parents too in that way, where we're just like, let's go, let's go, let's go. We want to see the action, but sometimes it's better to listen. So the weakness of the driver is listening. The amiable needs to feel safe. So they want the warm and fuzzy. They like the relationship. They like to know what's going on in your life. They want you to ask about their life. Their weakness is taking action. So they might be a little slow to respond and take action with whatever task is at hand. And then the expressive. The expressive needs approval. So they want to know when they're doing a good job. They want to know that you liked the gift that they gave you. They want to know that they like the article you wrote. They want to know, they want to get the approval. They prefer spontaneity. So being spontaneous is wonderful, but when you look down at the weakness, it's impulsiveness. So sometimes they can kind of counteract each other. I'm fun, I'm spontaneous, but I'm also impulsive. And if I don't think before I'm doing things, that could make everybody else on the team really annoyed. So to have a well-rounded situation, whether you're working on a project, whether you're in a work environment, you need to be able to read the other person and also meet them where they are, which we talk about meeting people where they are. And I think we try to do that, but it's a little bit harder, especially when we don't know where they're coming from. Some people may come off as passive, and for others, that's not okay. They need to be more direct. And some people may come off as too demanding. Maybe they're asking too much of you, or too aggressive. That's even something that I've heard. Somebody's so-and-so so aggressive. Well, they could be aggressive, but they could also be a driver. And a driver just wants to get things done. And maybe the amiable person is not going to feel safe in that situation where they've got the driver honing in on them, and the amiable person just wants to feel safe, wants to talk about things, wants to mull over it a little bit and have a good relationship, right? So the biggest task is understanding your own style and how other styles are going to actually affect your work environment. So, just as emotions are not good or bad, like I said before, no style is better than the other. They just are. We're just humans. We were born to be different, and that's okay. Another thing to note is that, like I said before, sometimes you're going to be analytical for part of your life, or maybe amiable and expressive for some of your life, and then you might find yourself growing into this new person in 10 years, and you are a driver now. So it's not unlikely that you wouldn't change your perspective or your social communication style. So now let's look into emotional intelligence and how it ties in. So there's been a lot of studies about emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is basically just social skills, self awareness, motivation, empathy, and self regulation. And why is this important? So, Travis Bradberry authored a book called Emotional Intelligence 2.0. It was wonderful. There's actually been a couple. And he has done the research and pretty much is pretty firm in his standing that the link between emotional intelligence and earnings is so direct that every point increase in EQ, which is emotional intelligence, adds $1,300 to an annual salary. So these findings hold true for people in all industries, all levels, everywhere in the world, and we haven't been able to find a job in which performance and pay aren't tied closely to emotional intelligence. So no matter where you're working, even when I was in the military, I had to be emotionally intelligent to meet the needs of my soldiers. My leadership needed to be emotionally intelligent to meet my needs and to be able to empathize and see where I was coming from too. This is difficult though, because it's not something that people are used to doing. We're used to just kind of going through life and doing things the way we do them. So, what does it mean to be emotionally intelligent in action? So, I like to ask myself these questions, and I do it often so that I can keep myself in check. Am I approachable? Am I teachable? Do I value others? Do I make others feel important or worthy? Have you ever had somebody that just makes you feel important? They make you feel worthy. Maybe you go everywhere else, but this one place in your life, whether it's work or whether it's with family member or friends or somewhere you volunteer, they make you feel worthy, not because of what you do, but just because of who you are. Am I empathetic? So I think it's important to note there's a difference between sympathy. Sympathy, we feel sorry for somebody. It's like, I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for the death in your family. I'm sorry. But to be empathetic is to really sit with someone, to really understand and seek to understand and be where they are in that moment in time. And I think that's really important, especially in the workplace. We can get so caught up with the mission that we forget to take care of ourselves and each other. Am I self aware? We need to ask ourselves, how do I feel? How do I make people around me feel? And how can I better understand you? So, if you're tuned out of your own emotions, you're going to be poor at reading them in other people. And reading your own emotions and becoming connected with those is so important because I think that a lot of times, maybe through childhood, our parents get so busy that we don't sit down and we don't have a time to really reflect on emotions. We had a few emotions that we got to dive into, and that was if we were sad or if we were happy or angry. And that was it. And the reality of the matter is there's so many other emotions that we could be feeling. Loneliness, frustration. We need to be able to sit with those emotions and figure out, how do I feel before I'm figuring out, how does this person feel? What are they trying to say? Are you aware? So 95% of people think that they are self-aware. 95% of all people think they're self-aware, but only 10 to 15% actually are, according to organizational psychologists from Harvard Business. So that's pretty astounding. The whole population, we all think that, we are self-aware and we're not. So this is an area that we have to continually grow in. Emotional intelligence is more of a journey and less of a destination. So every day we're seeking to become more empathetic, to become more on task. Part of mental wellness is being able to see others and understand where they're coming from. Without social awareness, without emotional intelligence, without understanding someone else's communication style and learning style, we can't do that. So emotional intelligence matters in the workplace. It's that self-awareness, motivation, self-management, social skills, and empathy. Emotional intelligence matters, and most employers actually agreed that they would not hire a person that exhibited high IQ. So they were great when it came to balanced performance and decision making, but they had low or no EQ. This would be considered a liability, which I think is pretty accurate in most of the workplaces I've ever been in, especially in the last 10 years. Being someone who works well with others and seeks to understand is the mission. Whether we're dealing with our clients, employees, colleagues, or those we interact with in another capacity, emotional intelligence matters. And it can be possible in our workplace to experience better communication. So am I self-aware? Am I self-motivated? Can I manage my emotions? Can I take a 5-second pause or a 5-minute pause? Sometimes we need that. Can I regulate my own emotions? Do I take the time to understand others' communication styles? And lastly, can I show empathy for those around us? Because they're not doing the task the way you do them. They're not thinking the way that you do. Maybe they're not speaking the way you do. Recognizing that we're all different races, skill sets, religions, diversity is what allows us to flourish. And it's what brings us together as humans. So, learning styles, this is important because it matters in the way that we present material, the way that we communicate to others. How are they receiving it? Do they understand what you're saying? Or maybe this is not their learning style, right? So whether we're discussing learning styles or social styles, again, none are better than the next. Despite differences, learning to work together and understand our own styles around us allow us to be peaceful. So let's look at some of these. I don't know if any of you, a lot of times people know what their learning style is, and sometimes maybe people don't, or they've just never given it any thought. So I'm going to start. For me, mine is verbal and visual. And then I would say probably combination. Now, combination is where you have a combination of 2 or more of the learning styles and that you prefer to learn in. Verbal is where you're focused on words. Words are your strong point. You prefer to use words in speech, in writing. You like that form of communication. That's how you get your point across. Visual. You prefer to use pictures and diagrams and spatial understanding to help you learn. A lot of times, visual and the analytical communication style will go hand in hand. And also, visual, solitary, and analytical often go hand in hand as well. I see a lot of people with that. Musical. You prefer using sounds or music or even rhythms to help you learn. I have a lot of clients who use music. They put their ear pods in so that they can focus and they can learn. So I'm always up for different means and modes of learning that might not be typical. Not everyone is neurotypical. A lot of us are neurodivergent, and so we need all of these various learning styles so that we can get our needs met as well. Physical, so you're the hands-on person. You want to touch things, you want to create, you want to act things out. Maybe you're good with role play. You want to work through it. Maybe you talk with your hands a lot. Logical, so learning is easier for you if you use logic, reasoning, systems, sequences. This one goes with analytical too. Social, you like to learn new things as part of a group. Explaining, understanding to a group helps you learn. Group learning is my favorite. Solitary, you want to work alone. Sometimes solitary can come off as someone who does not want to interact with others. And it's kind of awful because really some of us can only focus can only learn when we're in complete quiet, when we're alone. So I think it's important to know what other people's learning styles are so we don't come across as, oh, wow, they don't want anything to do with us. They are closed off. They're not a team player, when in reality, they just have a different learning style. And it's important to understand and see that. So what is style flex? So style flexing is temporarily changing your preferred style to the most comfortable style for the other person with whom you're communicating. So how do we flex our style? First up, I'm going to say it's not being fake, because I've had some individuals say, that's fake. I don't, if I'm not being true to myself in the way that I communicate, it's not being fake, it's being emotionally intelligent. So research in psychology has actually learned that people attribute positive characteristics to others who seem similar, which makes sense, right? So we choose partners, we choose friends who have similar character, have similar interests, like to do the things that we do. How you are perceived depends on both how you're behaving and the style of the other person in the situation. So I could be behaving this way and you receive it completely different than I meant to put out, right? Because I didn't style flex. I didn't find out how you communicate and change my preferred style to your comfortable style. So I'm sure everybody's heard about the golden rule: treat people as you want to be treated. No, not anymore. So treating other people the way you want to be treated, it's changed. It's not relevant today in the world, because we need to be treating people the way they want to be treated. We need to find out how others want to be treated, what respect means to them, how they want to communicate. This doesn't mean you're being fake. It doesn't mean you're giving up, who you are and the way that you want to live your life. It just means that you're seeking to meet others where they are. So we're not going to treat people according to the golden rule, right? We're going to acknowledge that we're all different and we all have a different idea about what's okay for us, what's right, what's wrong, and how we want to be spoken to, how we want to be treated. I think that as things change, years ago, not everyone was treated as valuable, and things are changing. And so I think with that change, we have to be open to different ideas. And one is putting the golden rule to rest. So let's talk about how we interact with individuals who are amiable. So when somebody is amiable, we're going to want to smile. We're going to want to be relaxed with them, show interest in them, be prepared to lead the discussion, get suggestions, don't make statements, find out what yes really means. Because how often does somebody say, oh, yes, 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 and they really mean no, no, no. I'm amiable. Maybe I'm passive. Maybe I'm uncomfortable with speaking up. Be prepared to talk social. So you're going to want to ask them about their lives. How's everything going? The way that I lead my meetings with anyone that I'm working with is I spend the first 10 minutes of the meeting talking about their life, if they feel comfortable. What's going on with you? What's going on with your family? How are you? What have you been up to? Especially in a work environment. People want to know that they are seen and heard. And then the other 50 minutes of the interview, or not the interview, the meeting, we talk business. But I like to get that out of the way first so that people feel and know that they matter, and what they're saying matters, and what they are going through in life matters. So when someone is expressive, reflect their enthusiasm, adopt a positive attitude. You're going to return their humor. You're going to be open, direct, challenging. You're not going to be cold. You're going to be ready to bring them back to the business, because as we saw before, they may be spontaneous and they don't really like to wait, and they may be kind of all over the place. So you're going to want to focus on the ideas, build on their ideas, be specific with what you want and how you see things going. When someone is analytical, you're going to avoid question and answer sessions. That could often feel to an analytical person like you're questioning what they say. You don't want to listen to them. You are second guessing them. You're going to keep to broad issues. You're going to motivate them. Do not laugh until they do, because analyticals can be serious sometimes. They want to be more formal and serious. So ask them questions. Find out what's important to them. Don't hurry them. Make sure you have some time and have an agenda or structure in every meeting, because this allows them to feel, just as the amiable person wants to feel safe in relationships, the analytical person feels safe when they have structure, when they have an agenda, when they have a to-do. And the driver. So with the driver, you're not going to waste time. Talk about work, not social. So the driver wants to get things done. They do not want to be social. They want to get right to business. So you're not going to have too many smiles, chit chats. You're going to come quickly to the point. You're not going to contradict. You're going to be positive. Listen. Don't be too relaxed, or they'll think you're not listening and you're not on task. Make the answer their idea. When the business is over, hightail it out of there. So let me go back to the make the answer their idea. Is that being fake? No, it's not being fake. It's understanding how somebody else works and how they think. And does it really hurt anybody? Does it hurt you to make the answer their idea? If it makes it a calm and peaceful work environment and that person feels seen, heard, understood, and like their opinions and their what they put into the workplace matters. So David Merrill and Roger Reed actually created a social style communication model in the 1960s, which is where we just kind of came from, explaining the different social styles and how they interact with one another. It's been helping people since 1960 get along. It's been proven to improve the performance, sales, relationships. And this is what some people had to say. So personal style differences in their workplace had actually caused conflict situations. So 87% of people polled in these many studies said 87% had conflict situations. 88% had, well, communication breakdowns. No way. Negative performance, 58%. So it's difficult to really have a positive performance environment when you are not understanding your partner or your workmate. Low morale, 62%. Absolutely. If people aren't understanding what I'm trying to put out, it's frustrating. It's the same for others. And then difficult relationships. So whether you're at home or whether you're at workplace, I'm sure everybody has experienced a work partner, colleague that was in what we viewed as difficult. And that created a difficult relationship in the work environment because we didn't see things the way they saw them. So was it them? Was it us? Was it both of us not understanding one another? So the participant response to would applying social styles improve results in the following situations? 375 said yes, conflict, it would help. 392, communication breakdowns. 358, it would help that negative performance in the workplace. Morale. If anything is important, morale is important. When we go to work, we want to be there. We can like the mission, we can like the job and not understand people, and then morale is in the tank. And then 375 people said that it would help with difficult relationships. And it does when you utilize. So this inventory is at this website right here. So all of you guys can go to coremanagementtraining.com. It's like a free assessment. You can take the assessment and then start comparing it to some of your workmates. Maybe come into a group and just say, okay, what was your style? What's my style? Okay, how does that affect us? How do I learn how to effectively communicate with you so that you feel seen, you feel heard? So if you want this, I can send this to you, or you can just go to the website and get that. Now, before I go to the next slide, what I'm going to do, I'm actually kind of glad that this is at the end of the day for you all, at least I guess I assumed it was the end of the day. But I'd like to do a relaxation progressive muscle script. That way we can all kind of just come down. I'm sure a lot of you have had long days. I know I have, and just get centered. Is everybody up for that?
Sure.
Okay, all right. I've got consent, and consent is very important in everything we do. All right, so if you feel like you are okay with closing your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes. Sit back, take a comfortable position, as comfortable as you can be in those chairs. All right, we're going to begin. Begin by taking a deep breath and noticing the feeling of air filling your lungs. Hold your breath for a few seconds. Release the breath slowly and let the tension leave your body. Take in another breath and hold it. Again, slowly release the air. Even slower now, take another breath. Fill your lungs and hold the air. Slowly release the breath and imagine the feeling of tension leaving your body. Now move your attention to your feet. Begin to tense your feet by curling your toes in the arch of your foot. Hold on to the tension and notice what it feels like. Release the tension in your foot. Notice the new feeling of relaxation. Next, begin to focus on your lower legs, tensing the muscles in your calves. Hold them tightly and pay attention to the feeling of tension. Release the tension from your lower legs. Again, notice the feeling of relaxation. Remember to continue taking deep breaths. Next, tense the muscles of your upper leg and your pelvis. You can do this by tightly squeezing your thighs together. Make sure you feel the tenseness without going to the point of strain. And release. Feel the tension leave your muscles. Begin to tense your stomach and chest. You can do this by sucking your stomach in, squeezing harder, and holding the tension. A little bit longer. Release the tension. Allow your body to go limp. Let yourself notice the feeling of relaxation. Continue taking deep breaths, breathing in slowly, noticing the air fill your lungs, and hold it. Release the air slowly, feeling it leaving your lungs. Next, tense the muscles in your back by bringing your shoulders together behind you. Hold them tightly. Tense them as hard as you can without straining and keep holding. Release the tension from your back. Feel the tension slowly leaving your body and the new feeling of relaxation. Notice how different your body feels when you allow it to relax. Tense your arms all the way from your hands to your shoulders. Make a fist and squeeze all the way up your arm. Hold it. Release the tension from your arms and shoulders. Notice the feeling of relaxation in your fingers, hands, arms, and shoulders. Notice how your arms feel limp and at ease. Move up to your neck and your head. Tense your face and your neck by distorting the muscles around your eyes and mouth. Release the tension. Again, notice the new feeling of relaxation. Finally, tense your entire body. Tense your feet, your legs, your stomach, your chest, your arms, your head, and neck. Tense harder without straining. Hold the tension. Now release. Allow your whole body to go limp. Pay attention to the feeling of relaxation and how different it is from the feeling of tension. Begin to wake your body up slowly, moving your muscles, adjusting your arms and legs. Stretch your muscles and open your eyes when you're ready. How was that?
Good. It's nice.
Ready to take a nap.
Yeah.
Are you all getting ready to go home?
Most of us.
Okay. So let me just tell you a little bit about Bronson's HelpNet EAP, so that Employee Assistance Program. So we have 5 areas, 5 core services. We have the Work Life website. The Work Life website is a place that you can go, you can find assessments, you can find learning materials, you can find some podcasts on mental health. It's really a great website to go to if you want to learn about pretty much anything. We have counseling. So whether that's in person, telephonic, virtual, we can meet your needs. When you call for counseling, if you are out of the range of our offices, which are Battle Creek and Kalamazoo, we will find somebody for you, somebody that can give you those services. So everyone gets this service absolutely free with this EAP plan. So let's just say you are feeling depressed, or maybe you have anxiety, or maybe you just need to process with somebody. Maybe you just need somebody to talk to. I am an advocate for therapy. I like to say every therapist has a therapist, because all of us need someone we can process with, who is non-judgmental, who has no bias, and who will listen to us. Management referrals. So if you have anybody that maybe is in your, downline that really needs some assistance, we have management referral opportunities. Financial. So if you are needing to kind of get on track and get a budget, we have a financial planner that can actually talk with you and help you with that and give you free consultations, as well as with legal. So with legal, you would call and you would get a free 30-minute consultation. So that's if you needed a lawyer for divorce or for anything really. And with that, you get a 25% discount. Like I said before, all the counseling services are free. They're confidential. So whether it's crisis support or whether it's somebody who is a family member sleeping on your couch, right? We all have had times where we're up and down in life. Maybe somebody is having that experience. If they're in your home, they're entitled to this. So have them call. Therapy isn't cheap, but through the EAP, it is given to you absolutely free. So stress, anxiety, depression, addiction, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. So if you're someone who celebrates a holiday or not, you can call and set up an appointment. Here's the number, 800-969-6162. And like I said, there are so many opportunities. I have clients who use their lunch breaks. They're 45 minutes and they're in their car. So you are never far from finding a way, right? We can definitely accommodate you. Like I said, 30-minute consultation for legal and financial. And that's our website. So when you go to that website, you can see all of us, all the providers that are in Kalamazoo and Battle Creek. And if you're beyond that, you can find out all the information that we have on the website and call and have a referral made, or get hooked up with somebody virtually. All right. Does anybody have any questions? I hope I didn't put you all to sleep. Well, the relaxation is supposed to kind of want you to, relax that body and put you to sleep. But hopefully earlier I didn't put you to sleep. And I just want to say thank you for all that you do. When I was in Germany, especially, I came to know the Ronald McDonald House, and I'm so appreciative because so many of my friends and family, I have so many family members in the military, my husband as well, and my uncle was killed in the line of duty. And so just to have a place that we have caring individuals who are there to help us during those times, you can't put a price on it. And I'm so appreciative.
Brandy, in a previous slide, you referred to a method in all capital letters with a trademark. What was that methodology, or?
All right, one second.
It was called the core.
Yes, let me go back to.
Core met with it. No, it was core social.
Coremanagementtraining.com.
No, I'm sorry. Back further, when you were talking about effective responses to workplace differences. Keep going. It was in all capital letters, and it looked like a trademarked methodology or curriculum.
Well, okay. Well, I know that the website will allow you to
keep going. I think it was the next slide or two after this. No, next. Oh, it's coming up. Next one. No, next one. Next one. It's I'll keep going. No,
Yeah.
maybe it was there. No, it was in a paragraph. It was all capital letters with a trademark.
Social style.
Yeah.
Had a copyright on it. That was that one.
Was that one?
Okay, the social styles.
Oh.
Okay. Right here. This?
No, it was a paragraph.
I think what he was looking at was the one with the percentages and stuff on it.
The percentages.
Bar charts.
Okay. Stop right there. And you just went past it.
Oh, this?
I should have wrote it down. Well, you're going to send us the presentation, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
will. And then you could dive into it. I always encourage people to look into the various social styles, the diagrams, as well as figuring out where they are, and then having a conversation around that. Once you've come to the conclusion that you are on left or right, up, down, whatever part of the spectrum, but it will give you all the information when you go in and complete that assessment.
Okay, and also at that website, coremanagementtraining.com, I don't see where that test link is, or that survey, or that thing that's you fill out.
Okay, one moment. I'm going to go ahead and look and just make sure that is the most
What I got was a main webpage. It looks like it's training for managers. Or managementtraining.com.
Okay. Okay. You know what? You are absolutely correct. I copied and pasted a few extra pieces in there. So what I'll do is I will send you, if it's okay, Jim, I will send
Yep.
you the link in
Okay.
just a moment. That way you can disseminate and you all can start figuring out where you are on the spectrum.
Great.
All right.
Anybody have any questions, comments?
Thank you.
We appreciate your time and expertise. And
Absolutely.
just a
Thank you so
reminder
much.
that if anyone needs to know more information about, if you're not signed up or registered with our EAP, if you go into Bamboo, there is a link to the packet. So hopefully you're all registered, because once you get registered, you can log on. There's a lot of great online resources and of course, on demand. So, a lot of good stuff.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
All
Brandy.
right. Yes,
Thank you
feel
for your
free to reach
service.
out if you, thank you. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or if you need anything else, and I'll get that link over to you.
Thank you. Take
All right,
care.
bye-bye.
I think you missed it, but she was in Afghanistan in combat. That's pretty amazing.
It's in a few places, Afghanistan, Germany, Kuwait.
Yeah. The golden appeal and military.
We've heard this all.
Yeah, take it away. I didn't mind sitting right until I realized I was in the little thumbnail. It's like, oh my gosh.